Who doesn't love drama? Who doesn't love action? Who doesn't love a complete thriller? Hey there guys, welcome back onto the channel. This book which I'm going to be talking to you about is probably going to be the book that decides the future of humanity 200 years from now. Do you recognize this place? Well, I'm not sure. If you're a new viewer, you're not going to. But if you've been watching my channel for a while, well, I am back. This is a beautiful place, the perfect place for the book that I'm going to be talking to you about today. I agree that this is a fiction book, but it is probably how humanity will be in 200 years from now. So stick around. Today, I wanted to talk about Divergent. It's a trilogy, including the books Divergent, Insurgent, and Allegiant. Today, I wanted to focus more upon the first book, which was Divergent, written by Veronica Roth. This book is based in a world that is which is placed a long time in the future, probably 200 years later from now, the current time, which is going to be amazing, as you can probably imagine, but not really. It is that there's one last final civilization, a city that survived, and it is surviving only due to factions. Now, what are factions? Factions are divided groups in which every person has to make a choice to go into. There are 5 factions, namely Abnegation, Candor, Dauntless, Amity, and Erudite. Now, I'm going to go through all of these factions in detail. You're going to understand each one of them, but let's focus more on the plot and the characters. The main character is Beatrice Pryor, who later on in the book takes up the name of Tris Pryor. She belongs to the Abnegation faction, which is basically the faction that takes care and is the most selfless faction. So let's talk about the factions on that note of Abnegation. First one, as I told you, Abnegation is the selfless faction. Those who blamed selfishness for the destruction of humanity form the faction Abnegation. Then we have Candor. Those who blamed duplicity formed Candor. In the Candor faction, everybody tells the truth. No matter how blunt it is, everyone goes straight to tell the truth, and there is no duplicity, nothing hidden, no lies, no manipulation. The third faction is Dauntless. It's probably the most dangerous faction, and as the name implies, it has all the dauntless people. Those who blamed cowardice form this faction, and it has all the people who are the bravest alive. Then we have Amity. Those who blamed evilness and all bad things, bad behavior formed Amity. This is the kindest faction. They are always happy, always, helping people, but not in the abnegation type of way. Amity will do anything to keep the peace, no matter what it is, whether it's lies, manipulation, whatever. As long as the peace stays, they are happy. And the final one, which is basically the most annoying faction, the most powerful faction as well, is Erudite. Erudite was formed by those who blamed people who did not study or did not have knowledge. Erudite is all about those people who love knowledge, seek knowledge, and try to gain knowledge. But the problem is they try to gain knowledge at every cost. So now Erudite was the main villain in the book. But let's talk about the other characters. So apart from Beatrice Pryor, there is a person called 4, and his real name I'm not going to reveal, but yes, the number 4. Let's talk about the storyline. What happens is Beatrice Pryor and Caleb Pryor were the children of Andrew and Natalie Pryor, born in abnegation and raised in abnegation. So there comes an age, a specific age and a day where all children have to choose which faction they want to go. So basically it means you can switch factions. You can go from abnegation to Erudite. You can go from Erudite to Candor. You can go from Candor to Amity, or Amity to Dauntless. Whatever be the case, if you feel that you are not living up to your current faction, then that's what you have to do. Change your faction. So now Beatrice Pryor noticed that her brother was incredibly selfless. But she was not. She just couldn't bring herself to help people as much as her mother, father, and brother. So she decided to do the most dangerous thing. She changed to Dauntless. The reason for this was they have to go through an aptitude test to prove which faction is the best for them. But the test didn't work on Beatrice Pryor.
We're supposed to trust the test. Didn't work on you.
The lady who took the test was a good lady. She did not fear Tris Beatrice, and she told Beatrice that they call it Divergent. Now, as you know, Divergent means different ideas. Basically, Divergent are people who cannot place their mind into a specific kind of way of thinking. They are always different. They're not convergent, they're divergent. So the aptitude test did not work on Beatrice. So she changed to Dauntless, became the most dauntless person there, as well as jumping off the roof at the first try. Now, that's a big feat of bravery. Over there, she meets many friends, such as Christina, who is a Candor born Dauntless. And she also meets Will, who is an Erudite born Dauntless. These are all faction transfers, as all the faction transfers are trained separately, and the ones who were already Dauntless, who chose to continue in Dauntless, stayed in a separate area. So there was Will, there was Christina, and there was Al, also Candor born Dauntless. But she made a few enemies as well. Peter, who was Candor born Dauntless, was the worst person and will be the worst person on the upcoming books as well. So Peter was actually the worst person, and of course they have to be enemies. So along with Peter were Molly and Drew, who were also pretty horrible characters. Then Beatrice came to know more and more about Dauntless as well as Divergent. But let's take a stop here and call her Triss, because she's no longer Beatrice. She chose to have a new beginning as well as a new name. So now she's Triss. Triss meets her instructor called Four, whom she takes a liking to, and basically they are the two companions of each other for the rest of the two books which are remaining after this. And of course, it is an amazing series in terms of action as well as mystery, adventure, and all these amazing plots mashed into one mega amazing story. Now, what happens is they come to know that Divergent is a dangerous thing to be. And along with this are many plot twists, like who Four really is. Why is Divergent so scary? Why are Divergents being killed? What is going on in Erudite? Something keeps going on in Erudite. And the worst thing of all, Triss's brother, Caleb Pryor, switches to Erudite. The worst thing about this was that Caleb and Beatrice had grown up hating Erudite because their father thought the Erudite were corrupt, and the Erudite said that the abnegation was corrupt. So there was a faction war that was going on that was threatening the peace of the city. What actually happened was drastic. It led to a full blown out war, but I'm not going to talk about that because that's for you to find out. Basically, what happens is Erudite keeps launching different kinds of stories because Erudite has control over the newspapers, the schools, the scientists. Everybody is Erudite. Those who are knowledgeable are from Erudite. Those who are in the government are from Abnegation. Those who produce the food and all are from Amity. Those who guard the city are called Dauntless, of course. And finally, we have Candor, who basically do not do much. So now finally what happens is Erudite actually attacks Dauntless. But that's a big separate plot that's mashed up into that story. Abnegation and Erudite hate each other, and in the midst of this appear Triss and Four. They are both stuck with Four having a horrible past and Triss having a crazy, completely crazy future. So with that video finally coming to an end, give this video a like, guys, subscribe down onto the channel, and of course if you have seen this place before, that means you are a long time viewer of my vlogs, or you saw that video. I know I'm not too sure, but please make sure you do check that video out. It's in the description below, and of course you can go ahead and check it out. So guys, thanks for watching this video. Bye.